morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. A big thank you to the team at IOPSA for giving us this opportunity. This morning, we're going to be talking to you about the importance of business assurance and how it can be used to protect yourselves as business owners, your estate, and even your employees from the risks that we as business owners all face out there. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of business insurance, I just want to position for you guys who I am, who we are as a business, and how we fit into a larger group with all the resources and support required for us to be able to service our clients correctly. So my name is Donovan Hall. I am a financial advisor, sales leader, and director of Lifeguards Growth Solutions. We are a Liberty franchise. I have 15 years industry experience with Liberty. I've got an advanced certificate, NQF6 in financial planning. And much like your industry, we are continually learning and studying and continually having to complete our CPD points on an ongoing basis to maintain our accreditation. As an advisor, my passion and my goal is to change as many lives as possible through professional financial planning. As a business owner, my goal is to recruit and develop professional financial advisors so that they in turn can go out into the marketplace and change as many lives as possible through professional financial planning. Just a little bit about Lifeguards Growth Solutions. We are an affiliate of the Liberty Group Limited. Our business started on the 1st of September 2016, but we have more than 60 years experience between our team. Our team is made up of CFP professionals. We also have an attorney as well as an in-house tax practitioner. And then just a little bit of bragging, Lifeguards won the Liberty Franchise Startup of the Year Award 2017 and 2018. And we also got the Liberty Corporate Production Awards 2017 and 2019. Our vision is to be your devoted partners in safeguarding your legacy through expert financial planning, ensuring your right to financial freedom. And you can see on the screen, from the logos on the screen, that we belong to a family of financial services companies who focus on wealth protection and creation for our clients. We advise our clients on business assurance, life assurance or personal risk cover, investment solutions, retirement solutions, short-term cover, as well as healthcare. So today we're going to be talking about business assurance. And the first thing I want to chat about is the various different business risks that we as business owners could potentially face out in the marketplace. And you can see I've listed quite a lot. There's political risk, economic risk. We've all got competitors. We all have within our various industries compliance standards and regulations. So there's a lot out there that could affect our business. This morning, though, I'd like to focus specifically on what we believe are the business risks that are within a business owner's control, and then to give you some direction on what can be done about these from a business assurance point of view. So the first business risk I want to focus on is current liabilities. So what are current liabilities? So examples of current liabilities might be overdraft facilities, business loans or long-term rental agreements for property or actual equipment, asset finance. So these are all, with the exception of the rental agreements, essentially lending facilities that business owners can use to grow their business, obviously granted to you by various financial institutions. The thing is, though, that with these, invariably financial institution is going to ask the business owner or owners to sign some kind of personal suretyship. And once that's done, that then basically leaves you personally liable should something go wrong within the business. So the question that needs to be asked is, how vulnerable are the owners of a business to the risk of the death of an owner in regards to current liabilities. So there's a few things here. First, we've got to ask ourselves, how likely is the occurrence of the risk event? What is the financial impact on the business and the owners if it does happen? And three, is it within our control? What action can be taken in respect of this risk? And you'll see in red there, unfortunately, death of an owner, at some point death is inevitable, and I know that's a bit heavy for a Monday morning, but the million-dollar question here is when, and that's obviously something that nobody has a definite answer to. So in terms of your current liabilities, in the event of a death of an owner, and let's say there's been surety agreement signed for either asset finance or loans, anything like that, straight away the debt needs to be addressed. And there's essentially just two options here. One is that the surviving business owner or owners could essentially approach the financial institution and try and renegotiate the terms and that for that specific deal. However, if you've just lost one of your partners, that might be difficult to get done right there and then. If not, then the full debt becomes payable. And you'll see there, I've mentioned that the financial institution is going to try and recover the full debt. And 100% of that is jointly and severally. So what do I mean by that? It means that regardless of your specific ownership share or shareholding within a business, all of the owners can be held jointly and severally liable for any current liabilities. And they are obviously going to try and collect those from either the business, the surviving owners, or alternatively the deceased estate of the deceased owner, especially if it's a sole owner. So let's just summarize this a little bit. We've spoken about what happens in the event of a death of an owner, and that unfortunately at some point it's inevitable. This also covers disability of an owner. And what we need to do is check on what would the consequences for your business be. Would it be a severe financial outcome? And how would you be able to deal with that? And then lastly, again, is it within your control? And the answer to that is most definitely yes. And this is what we call a contingent liability plan. And by implementing a contingent liability plan, the business takes out life insurance policies, including disability cover, on the life of each owner to provide the necessary capital to settle all outstanding debt. And thus the business, as well as the remaining owners, are protected. All right, the next business risk that I want to talk about is ownership succession. So a good working relationship between business partners obviously is essential for success in your business. And through, whether it's a CC or a PDY or just a partnership agreement, there's an element of protection against the introduction of new owners. And normally there's harmony in a business when all the owners are able to contribute and everything is going well. But what happens in the event that something happens to one of the owners? And essentially what happens is it creates a whole lot of uncertainty in the event of death or disability of one of the business owners. So the uncertainty for the deceased or disabled owner involves his family or that individual's family not being interested in being involved in the business any longer, or possibly an executor may be required to sell an interest in order to raise liquidity for the estate. The executor may be, well, if there is a loan account, the executor will be forced to call up the loan account, and the deceased or disabled business owner's family could lose a vital source of income. So on the flip side of that, the uncertainty for the surviving owners is that they might not have sufficient cash, either in their personal capacity or within the business, to purchase the interest or to repay a loan account if that becomes recalled. There's definitely uncertainty because of potential disruption. If a third party now becomes a new owner, and sometimes you may inherit a new partner, and the new owner may not have anything to offer the business, or and as such may be a drain on the resources. So that's the kind of uncertainty that could be created. So when dealing with succession of ownership, we use what we call a buy and sell agreement. And by implementing a buy and sell agreement, the parties involved remove the uncertainty so that everybody knows exactly what's going to happen should something happen to one of the owners. So it's an agreement between the owner coupled together with a life insurance policy to allow surviving owners to pay for the purchase of the deceased or disabled owner's business interest. And I always say to my clients that, as far as business assurance is concerned, life insurance or disability cover is really good, cheap capital. The other thing that's important, really important with buy and sell agreements is that yes, there's a life cover or disability cover on the life of the owners, but what really holds it all together is the actual buy and sell agreement. So we make sure that when we're doing buy and sell cover, that our clients have got a solid buy and sell agreement in place. And the buy and sell agreement is really what gives everybody peace of mind that the proceeds of those policies are going to be used in the correct manner, and that everybody's going to benefit the way the agreement says that they're supposed to. And then again, I was talking about uncertainty and removing the uncertainty. So by having a buy and sell agreement in place for the deceased or disabled owner, they've got peace of mind that they know that if something happens, effectively their business interests are sold, and either they or their estate will receive the full market value of their interest in cash. For the surviving business owners, there's liquidity now through that policy to purchase the business interest, and that could prevent a third party who may not be wanted to enter the business. The other very important thing that I'd like to mention about buy and sell cover is that if you have a business with only one owner, I've often seen out in the marketplace people using one-sided buy and sell agreements. So normally a buy and sell agreement would be between two or more business partners. A one-sided buy and sell agreement would also secure succession of ownership for the business, and it could be with another sole owner or somebody who's in the same industry as you, or alternatively, and more often I've seen it used for the staff within the business. So if there are a couple of key staff within the business, a one-sided buy and sell agreement would be on the life of the business owner, paying out in the event that something happens, so that the business owner can benefit from the value of his business, and the staff then can take ownership using this liquidity, and the business can continue and people can stay employed. All right, next business risk I want to focus on is essential employees. We all know that having good skilled employees, one of the most important assets of any business, and your profitability can depend a lot on your team's set of skills and expertise. So with specifically key individuals, skilled employees, what is the impact on a business if you lose a highly skilled employee due to death or disability? And there could be many. So one could be decreased sales or turnover. Another implication could be you're now faced with the costs of going out into the marketplace to replace that individual with somebody who's got similar or the same skill sets. There could be a loss of sales while training a new employee and getting them up to speed. In some cases, there may have to be changes to the existing business model if replacing that individual is not possible. And in extreme cases, the worst case scenario, you may find a situation where businesses may need to be wound up if it's no longer viable, or if they're no longer able to trade without that particular individual. So what can we do about this? The solution is to first and foremost identify the essential employees, then assess what the financial impact on the profitability of the business would be in the event of death or disability of the employee. We would then use life insurance and disability cover to protect the business against the loss. And just in this situation, the business would be the owner of the policy, the business would be the payer of the policy, as well as the beneficiary, with the key employee or key individual that you've identified as the life assured. And we call this key person assurance. You may have heard it referred to as key man cover. And by implementing a key person solution in your business, the business can provide financial security against the impact or loss of a skilled employee due to death or permanent disability. Business risk, and guys, I just want to mention that I know I am going through this relatively quickly. I will summarize all of the various different business risks and the solutions at the end of the presentation. So in the same vein, we were just talking about key individuals within your business. Another risk is obviously high turnover of staff is obviously not great for any business. So now just talking about staff retention, and we know that many of you put huge resources into your staff and spend time and resources educating people, training them, developing them, letting them gain experience. And so, if a staff resigns, it's really disruptive to your business, and also, restraint of trade, even if you've got that in your contracts, that they're very difficult to enforce. And we need to remember that essentially you can't stop somebody from earning a living in their chosen profession. And more often than not, when people do resign, very often they're going to your competition. So all of that resource that we've just spoken about goes to your competition, as well as the competition acquiring knowledge of your business. So what are different ways that you could sort of try and limit staff turnover and keep people incentivized to stay employed? So one of those would be a group retirement schemes. So for example, a business with, let's say, more than 10 employees could join an existing umbrella pension or provident fund. And I've put in brackets there, only if this is financially viable, and hence I referred to 10 employees. If the number of employees is too small, the administrative costs in terms of pension and provident funds may not make sense. So in that case, for a business with fewer employees or less than 10 employees, very often I've seen business owners just do individual retirement annuities in the name of the employee, funded by the business, forming part of that individual's remuneration. So the solution for that issue there is either a company retirement fund or retirement annuities. And by joining a larger umbrella or provident fund, employees are more likely to view the fund as an incentive to remain employed with an organization or company. The next thing would be staff retention on an individual level, again, creating an incentive for people to stay. And this can be done one way through a recurring monthly investment to build up a lump sum value. So in other words, if you've identified somebody that's really important to your business and you want to make sure that you keep them around, you could enter an agreement with the employee whereby the employee agrees to remain employed for a specific period of time, normally a minimum of 5 years, and you don't want to make that period too long either. And then if the employee complies, they would then receive the investment lump sum at the end of that period. If not, and they do not remain employed, then those funds are retained by the business. Obviously, the terms and conditions of this would be recorded in a contract between the business and the employee. And this is what we refer to as a preferred compensation plan. And essentially, it's just an investment plan coupled with a contract, which allows the business to provide a chosen employee with a monetary incentive to remain employed for an agreed period of time. The next business risk, liquidity, cash flow, obviously something that most business owners grapple with on an ongoing basis. Here I want to talk about saving or investing for your business. And it's really important. Often I come across businesses where people just retain excess cash within the business, but there are some problems with that. So inflation is always eating away at the buying power of any money you have saved. If it's just left, for example, in a money market account, there's a lack of investment diversification for those funds. Also, just important to know that investments or cash can be used obviously as security, and those investments would therefore improve the cash flow of a business. So let's just go into that a little bit more. So here I'm just talking about a business investment plan, and essentially it's an investment plan which allows the business to save lump sums or on a recurring basis to create and preserve liquidity, which would in turn improve cash flow. Again, I just want to go back to what I mentioned earlier. It's really important to think hard about where you leave excess funds and cash in your business. Over the last few years in South Africa, money market type of investments have actually been okay, depending on who you are and what your standing with the bank is. You could have gotten decent returns, 5, 6, 6.5%. But nowadays, with the recent drop in interest rates, it means that you're going to get a lot less on that money now, which makes having a good diversified portfolio more important than ever. All right, the next thing I want to chat about is future liabilities. What do I mean by referring to future liabilities? So in your business, you may have a situation where you've got depreciating assets, vehicles, equipment, loans, and also overdrafts that need to be serviced. And at some point in time, you know that's going to become up for renewal or need to be settled. So in terms of future liabilities, you could strengthen your financial position by identifying debt or recurring liabilities that will become payable in the future. You can then take steps to create or grow the capital needed to cover that debt. You can do that by using an investment plan, and that same investment plan, once again, can be used as security for a loan. So we just refer to this as a future liability plan, and it's an investment plan to build capital over time in preparation for specific expenses that your business will incur in future. This allows the business to settle future debt when it becomes due. All right, so I just want to recap what we've been through so far, and just sort of summarize, because I know I've put quite a lot out there this morning. So from a business assurance point of view, these are the things that we've spoken about. So the first one was current liabilities, and I referred specifically to suretyship, and we call that a contingent liability plan. And a contingent liability plan is essentially just life cover or disability cover on the business owner's lives. Then we spoke about succession planning for owners, and that's essentially buy and sell arrangements. Again, it's risk cover, life and disability cover on the business owners, and that could be multiple owners or one-sided. Then we spoke about the loss of essential employees, and that's key person policies. Again, risk cover, life cover and disability cover on the key individual employee. Then we spoke about incentive to retain staff, and we spoke about a preferred compensation plan, which is just a recurring premium investment with a 5-year term, and that's to incentivize identified employees to remain in your employ. And then again, on incentivizing to retain staff, we spoke about a group retirement fund or even individual retirement annuity for smaller businesses with fewer employees. Then the last two are just investments. The one is to create and preserve liquidity, and that's just a business investment plan, and that can be done through lump sum or recurring investments. And then also just planning for the future by settling future debt or being able to settle future debt with a future liability plan. And again, through a lump sum or recurring and investment plan. So that's essentially just summarized very quickly from a business assurance, the different options that there are out there for business owners to protect themselves and their businesses from the various risks that you're going to face out there from time to time. So guys, as you can see there, I am sitting on a toilet. It's blocked. I've got no idea what to do. When it comes to plumbing requirements, we definitely rely on you guys, the professionals. So when it comes to business assurance and financial planning, you can rely on lifeguards for us to give you sound professional advice and peace of mind. And that's essentially my presentation, guys. Thank you again for your time. Again, just to all you guys out there, please, it's really important that you sit down and review both your personal financial planning and your business assurance. So if anybody needs any assistance, please let us know. And in many cases, I know that some of you will have your own advisors. Rely on them, lean on them, and get the correct information from them. And then again, just to thank everybody for your time and for the opportunity for me to talk to you this morning. I hope you guys have a great week ahead. Thank you.